My name is Bethany. I'm a librarian with Plano Public Library. Thank you so much for joining us today for the library's Living Well series. Please note, if you have any questions, you can type them into the chat. We will be monitoring the chat and to assist you with any technological issues. And your questions, we will get to them at the end of the presentation. We'll make sure to leave time for that. Just a few housekeeping reminders that we'd like to share with everyone. This program is being recorded and will be made available later on the Plano Public Library YouTube page. So the Plano Public Library is really pleased to partner with several organizations with resources to assist you. Along with opportunities to learn something new at the library, these Living Well programs will connect you with information, programs, and services that will assist you in getting the most out of life. Today, we have the Alzheimer's Association here to share about Alzheimer's and dementia resources and tips. First, we'll be hearing from Alice Wong. She is an Alzheimer's Association community educator for the Dallas and Northeast Texas chapter. She is an entrepreneur with a broad array of experience in finance, property development, and commercial real estate transactions. Next, we'll hear from Kathy Shockley, the Director of Programs and Services for the Alzheimer's Association Dallas and Northeast Texas chapter. Kathy is a licensed nursing home administrator. She has 20+ years experience working in long-term care and dementia care settings. And as an attendee of this program, you will receive a follow-up email after the program with a link to handouts for today's program and a link to a survey so you can let us know, share your thoughts on the program. So right now, I'd like to pass the program to Alice.
Good morning, everyone. Let me try to share my screen here. All right, can everybody see the screen? Okay, hang on. Okay, all right. Well, good morning again. Welcome to the 10 warning signs of Alzheimer's. Again, my name is Alice Wong, and I am the community educator for the Alzheimer's Association, the Dallas chapter. Today, we're going to explore the most common warning signs of Alzheimer's and dementia. And that will help us to be informed about what is normal aging and what is not. By the end of today's program, the goal is for you to be able to describe typical age-related memory, thinking, or behavior changes. And we should be able to recognize common warning signs of Alzheimer's and dementia. And we also like to discuss the tips for approaching someone about memory concerns. And we'll explain the importance of early detection and what are the benefits of diagnosis. And we'll also identify possible tests and assessments for the diagnostic process. And we'll also provide some resources available through the Alzheimer's Association. So you may notice that we're skipping some slides here because we're presenting a kind of a condensed version of this program. So we are all here today to learn about dementia and Alzheimer's and identify common warning signs of the disease. You may have heard the term dementia and Alzheimer's used interchangeably. They are related, but there are significant differences between the two. So first, Dr. Schneider is going to discuss what dementia is.
Dementia is the umbrella term for an individual's changes in memory, thinking, or reasoning. There are many possible causes of dementia, and Alzheimer's is the most common cause. Other causes of dementia are vascular dementia, which is marked by changes in the blood flow in the blood vessels in the brain. Dementia with Lewy bodies, identified by specific brain changes throughout the brain that include the buildup of a protein known as alpha-synuclein. And frontal temporal dementia, which is marked by brain cell loss in the front sections of the brain or the frontal lobe. Each type of dementia may have distinct characteristics to cause specific behaviors in the individual. But there is also some overlap in behaviors among the types of dementia.
So Alzheimer's is the most common form of dementia, accounting for about 60 to 80% of all cases. So next, we're going to hear from Dr. Hartley, and he's going to explain to us what the disease is and what it looks like in the brain.
More than 100 years ago, Dr. Alice Alzheimer's described specific changes in the brain, what we call the formation of plaques and tangles. Now, Alzheimer's is a progressive brain disease that's marked by these key changes and is thought to impact memory, thinking, and behavior. The brain has three main parts: the cerebrum, the cerebellum, and the brainstem. Each one plays a role in how the body functions. The cerebrum fills up most of your skull. It is part of the brain most involved in remembering, problem solving, thinking, and even feelings. There are about 100 billion nerve cells or neurons throughout the brain that transmit messages in order for us to create memories, feelings, and thoughts. Alzheimer's disease causes nerve cells to die, which leads to the brain tissue loss, or what we call shrinkage, and causes loss of function and communication between cells. These changes can cause the symptoms of Alzheimer's disease, such as memory loss, problems with thinking, planning, behavioral issues, and even at the end stages, problems with swallowing.
So lastly, we'll hear from Ruth. Ruth is the Director of Information and Support Services at the Alzheimer's Association. And she's going to talk about the importance of recognizing the warning signs of Alzheimer's.
It's important to know what the warning signs of Alzheimer's are and to be on the lookout. We know that we change over time, and the warning signs of Alzheimer's can be warning signs of a number of things. But when you see those in yourself or in someone you care about, it's important to check it out, to consult with a doctor, to find out what you're dealing with.
As Ruth said, it's so important to know what the warning signs are and to be on the lookout for those marked changes. The Alzheimer's Association developed a list of 10 warning signs to help people understand the difference between normal aging and the common signs of possible dementia. And this list is intended to be a tool to help identify unusual changes in a person's memory, thinking, or behavior. And it's important to note, though, this list does not constitute a diagnosis of Alzheimer's or dementia. These are simply the most common examples of changes experienced. So individuals may experience one or more or all of these signs in different degrees. And we're going to explore each sign and what some typical age-related changes may be. So first sign is memory loss that disrupts daily life. It's important to point out that those are memory loss that are so major that it disrupts daily life. So, and it is also one of the most common signs, especially early on for Alzheimer's disease. And that is forgetting recently learned information, and others including forgetting important dates or events, and repeatedly asking the same questions and increasingly relying on memory aids or leaning on others for things or tasks once handled on their own. And a typical age-related change is sometimes forgetting information, but remembering it later. Second sign, challenges in planning or solving problems. Some people may experience new difficulties in executive functioning. That includes developing or following a plan or difficulty concentrating. Whereas a more typical age-related change is making occasional errors, for instance, when managing bills or household finances. Third sign, difficulty completing familiar tasks. People living with Alzheimer's or dementia often find it hard to complete daily tasks that used to be managed with ease, such as driving to a familiar place, writing a grocery list, or remembering how to play a favorite game. Conversely, a typical age-related change could be occasionally needing help to use a microwave or a remote control. And this could also include having trouble with new technology, or the person hasn't had the chance to engage with as frequently. Fourth sign, confusion with time or place. An individual living with Alzheimer's or other dementia may lose track of dates, seasons, or even the passage of time. They may have trouble understanding something if it's not currently happening, or become confused about where they are or how they get there. And this becomes more dramatic or profound in the middle or late stages. A typical age-related change could be getting confused about what day it is, or when a scheduled appointment is, but often figuring it out later. Now, this is, again, pretty common with retirees not needing to go to the office every day. It is pretty common for them to forget what day of the week it is. And that is just part of the normal aging. This sign, trouble understanding visual images and spatial relationships. Now, some individuals with Alzheimer's or other dementia may experience vision problems, which can lead to difficulty with balance, trouble reading, and problems judging distance and determining color and contrast, which can all impact driving or navigating the environment around them. Vision changes such as cataract are more a typical age-related change. So this sign shows us that these changes are not just about memory and thinking. It's important to think that all of the other ways that someone's daily life may be impacted by any of those changes. Sixth sign, new problems with words in speaking or writing. Individuals may have trouble following or joining a conversation, stop in the middle of a conversation and forgot where they are talking about, and continuously repeating themselves. They might also struggle with finding the right word or calling things by the wrong name. They may also start using more descriptive terms to talk about something rather than the name of the actual item. For example, they may call a watch a hand clock. So a normal age-related change, however, could be occasionally having trouble finding the right word, but again, later remembering it. Next, replacing things or losing the ability to retrace steps. This sign often causes concern in people. I want to clarify that this is not about losing your keys occasionally. I do that often myself too, but usually I'll look around the mudroom area or next to the garage, usual places. But misplacing things from time to time is not that unusual if you can retrace the steps to find them. But a person with Alzheimer's disease could lose things and not being able to recall when it was last seen or identify the location where it was placed. Or he or she may put things in unusual places, such as putting shoes in a refrigerator. Because of the lack of executive function and awareness, the person may grow increasingly suspicious of others and start accusing others of stealing, and do so more frequently over time. Decrease or poor judgment. Individuals may experience changes in judgment or decision making, such as using poor judgment when dealing with money or paying less attention to hygiene or grooming. This can be especially common in individuals who live alone. And making a bad decision once in a while, such as forgetting to get an oil change, is a more typical age-related change. Withdrawal from work or social activities. So as we age, it is pretty normal to feel uninterested by family or social engagement at times. But someone who is experiencing dementia-related change may start to lose the ability to hold or follow a conversation. So as a result, they begin to withdraw from social encounters or hobbies. They may lose the confidence to engage in that way. The last one is changes in mood and personality. Individuals with Alzheimer's or other dementia could become confused, suspicious, depressed, fearful, or anxious. They might get easily upset either at home or when out of their comfort zone. As we age, however, it is pretty normal to develop a very specific way of doing things or becoming upset or irritable when our routine is disrupted. But someone with Alzheimer's or dementia could become fearful, angry, or easily frustrated, which is something that should be addressed. Our next topic is early detection. It's key that we pay attention to what's going on with our own cognitive health and not dismiss any changes that we may be experiencing as normal aging, as well as that of others around us. Any change that is unusual for your level of functioning or that of someone around you is cause of concern. And again, I want to emphasize that the comparison is to your own level of functioning because everyone's background is very different. So for a teacher that all of a sudden have problem with words is quite unusual. Or for an engineer to not being able to complete a simple mathematical calculation, that might be unusual too. So in this module, we discuss why it's critical to address any observed changes early and seek answers from a medical professional. So sometimes the person exhibiting symptoms isn't aware or may not have the insight to know that they're experiencing the changes, which is why having outside perspective is critical. This is especially important for individuals who live alone or are far from family and friends. So let's listen to Dr. Sellaway. He's going to discuss about the early detection.
You know, it's a very interesting phenomena that people who have memory problems are often less aware of it than family members or their friends who know them well. One of the reasons for that is our ability to monitor ourselves, which is an important part of brain function, decreases when we start having memory problems. Not in everybody, but commonly, and more than half the people with memory problems. And so the person is just not keeping track of the trouble they're having day to day. But the family members are, you know, paying attention. If they're paying attention, they see, boy, this is starting to happen a lot, and the person's not aware of it. So the family's more aware, and they may talk to their loved one about it, and they say, you know, I've noticed you've been repeating yourself. And they say, I'm not repeating myself. And that could either be due to the fact that they're not aware of it, or they may not want to acknowledge it.
Yeah. So many times friends and family are the first to notice changes in someone's memory, behavior, or other abilities. Next, we're going to listen to a care partner who was the first one to notice changes in her husband.
I was so adamant about what was happening to Daryl. I wasn't sure. I didn't know. And this wasn't the person that I know. This wasn't the person. Daryl was my husband was very, he always had to be building or designing or working with his hands. And it was getting to the point where he wasn't, and he was becoming very frustrated when he was forgetting to do things or go places.
So what should you do if you notice changes in someone? If you continue to observe those changes, it is critical that you plan to take the next step and had a conversation with the person or others close to him or her about what you have noticed. and this can be a difficult or uncomfortable conversation to have. The Alzheimer's Association developed a roadmap of 10 helpful steps to help navigating this. So let's take a look. We'll start by assessing the situation. So what changes in memory, thinking, or behavior do you see? What is the person doing or not doing that's causing concerns? What else is going on? What we mean by that is that there could be other conditions that cause changes in memory, thinking, and behavior. So are there other health or lifestyle issues that could be contributing to those changes? What about stress? Maybe diabetes or any change in medication. And we want to learn about the signs and benefits of early diagnosis. And you have already taken a very important first step by joining us with this program to learn about these steps. So do you notice any of the signs in a person that you're concerned about? And again, make sure that you compare those changes to the normal aging that you notice of the individuals and the normal functioning of the individual that you notice the changes. And has anyone else noticed the changes? The talk with friends or family. What, if any, changes have they noticed? Next is to prepare to have a conversation. Who should have the conversation to discuss the concern? It could be you, a trusted family member or friend, or a combination. It's usually best to speak one-on-one so that the person doesn't feel threatened or ambushed. But use what you know about the person to decide what approach might work the best. What is the best time and place to have the conversation? It is important to have the conversation as soon as possible. In addition to identifying a date and time, you should also consider where the person will feel most comfortable. What will you or the person having the conversation say? You may want to build out somewhat of a script. Consider the following questions. I've noticed you repeating yourself quite often, and I am concerned. Have you noticed it? Are you worried? Or you can say, how have you been feeling lately? You haven't seemed like yourself. Or you can also ask, I noticed that you keep forgetting things and it concerned me. Has anyone else or has anything else like that happened? And you can offer to go with the person to the doctor. Ask the person to see a doctor and offer to accompany them. Try using encouraging words such as, there are lots of things that could be causing this. Let's see if the doctor can help us figure out what's going on. And the sooner that we know what's causing these problems, the sooner we can address it. And you can also say that I think it would give us both peace of mind if we talk to a doctor. Now, sometimes one conversation doesn't do the job. So if needed, have multiple conversations. And don't be discouraged if the first conversation is not as successful as you would hope. Write down notes about how it went so that you can prepare for future conversations. And don't dismiss the changes you're noticing simply because the person is denying it or reluctant to address them, or the conversation didn't go as well as you had planned. Next, reach out for support. You can turn to Alzheimer's Association for information and support. Call our free 24/7 helpline to talk with the clinicians who can provide reliable support and information, including about how to have this important conversation. Finally, see a doctor. So most people address concerns about memory, thinking, and behavior with their primary care physicians. But in some cases, the primary care physicians may refer the person to a specialist for further evaluation. They could refer you to a neurologist or a psychiatrist or a psychologist. And every case is different. So we now know what signs to look for and how to approach the conversations. So now let's discuss the benefits of early detections.
There are a number of benefits in early detection of Alzheimer's. For one thing, a person is able to have a voice in what happens next. They can make plans. They can live life more on their own terms. They can also make plans for the future, financial plans, care plans. They can let people know what they want, which can be a real gift later on. It also allows time for families to make plans and to make decisions about who can do what and figure out care and those kinds of issues. Also, the treatments that are available for Alzheimer's don't cure Alzheimer's. They don't slow down the disease, but they do help with symptoms. And it seems as though they tend to work better the earlier a person is able to use those. So that can help too. Some people are interested in clinical trials. Clinical trials allow people to have access to treatments that aren't available yet. And for some people, that can be a really important thing to pursue.
So early detection helps the patient, himself or herself, and also the people around them. And it also helps the planning and also have the accurate medical treatment. So now let's take a look at what may be involved in a medical process to determine the cause of the symptoms. And let's start by testing your knowledge. True or false? There is currently no way to diagnose Alzheimer's disease. So the answer is false. Contrary to an outdated belief that an Alzheimer's diagnosis can only be made at autopsy, there are a number of assessment and tests that make it possible to diagnose Alzheimer's and dementia with a high degree of certainty. However, determining the cause of dementia can sometimes be more difficult. So here we're going to explore possible steps of the diagnostic process. Keep in mind though, as we review those steps, not everyone may be asked to undergo each and every one of them by the doctor. So those assessments could include medical history, physical exam, screening for depression, interview with close companions. And tests could include lab tests, mental cognitive status tests, and brain imaging. So many people wonder, do dementia-like symptoms always result in a diagnosis of Alzheimer's or other dementia? The diagnostic process will vary from person to person, depending on the individual's specific situation and what the doctor feels is the right cause of action for that person. The diagnosis may be something other than Alzheimer's or other dementia, which is why it's important to investigate the cause of the symptoms. Stigma and misconceptions about Alzheimer's, like nothing can be done about it, could deter some people from seeking a diagnosis. The Alzheimer's Association is in communities across the country, and we will provide direct service to individuals and families that face the disease. And oftentimes, the website is the first stop when individuals are diagnosed with the Alzheimer's disease. So next, we're going to introduce and explain the resources the Alzheimer's Association has for the individuals diagnosed with Alzheimer's and other dementia, as well as the caregivers and families. So let me introduce you back to Kathy. Kathy, please take it away.
Thank you, Alice. You always do a fantastic job presenting. We certainly appreciate you. And I do want to take this minute to plug volunteer opportunities as well with the association. As Alice mentioned, she's one of our community educators. And Alice, you can advance to the next slide. And then this, of course, is just showing you, as Alice mentioned, we have chapters throughout the country. And so if you hear information today that you think would be helpful for someone who lives in another state, please let them know that there is an Alzheimer's Association chapter who serves their area. And just to kind of share a little bit with you about some of our most essential resources. And Alice, if you'd like, you can actually stop screen sharing, and I'll pop over to the website and walk people through some of these things as well. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. And I know that you have to hop off. And again, thank you, Alice, so much. Our helpline, thank you, Alice. First of all, the resource I want to make sure that everyone today leaves being well aware of is our 800 helpline. I see that Bethany has placed that in the chat. This is a 24/7 resource, and it is answered by trained master level individuals who are there to listen. They're there to connect you with other resources. They are there to provide some reassurance. Very oftentimes we have caregivers who call who are just maybe they're feeling guilty. They feel like they're just not doing enough, or their caregiving is lacking. And so a lot of what we do on that helpline is providing individuals with some caregiver confidence and helping the caregivers understand that that they're not alone. And they're not alone in those feelings, and just to help connect them with some additional resources. I'm going to share my screen, and I wanted to just take a quick moment to walk you through our website. The website has fantastic information. It can feel, a bit overwhelming if you're not exactly sure where to start. June is Alzheimer's and Brain Awareness Month. So thank you so much for attending today's education. There's plenty more like this, and you can watch those things on demand anytime. And I'll put that link in the chat as well. We have about 16 different modules that individuals can watch, as I said, completely free anytime you'd like. And you even can have a downloadable certificate of completion at the end. But I wanted to first take you to our help and support page. So our website is alz.org/Dallas, NE, Texas. Under the help and support page, if you click on the I Have Alzheimer's tab and go to that home page, as Alice mentioned, oftentimes individuals may be reluctant to visit with their doctor about their memory concerns. There is the sense that there's nothing that can be done about it. So why would I want to receive a diagnosis? I'm sure that you all are well aware of what's been in the news as of this last week with the FDA approval of aducanumab, or as will be marketed, Aduhelm. That is the first FDA-approved medication that is designed to actually impact the biological root of the disease, as opposed to just treating symptoms. We at the association are very excited about the possibilities of many more medications to come that are getting at the root cause of the disease, as opposed to just symptomatic relief. But on this I Have Alzheimer's page, you can see over on the left-hand side, know what to expect, information about treatments and research, programs out there, how to plan for your future, overcoming stigma, and just like today's overall program on living well, it's about how to live well with the disease. Recently, I heard a gentleman who is living with younger onset Alzheimer's disease. I just loved it. A great quote. He said, you know, people ask me, has Alzheimer's disease brought me to my knees? And I say, no, Alzheimer's disease has brought me to my feet. And he's using his diagnosis to advocate and to really help to push changes as far as public policy is concerned, and benefits for those living with the disease. So this particular page, I just wanted to make sure that you all were well aware of. Also under help and support, if you go to, for those who are caring for someone, as you can see with caregiving, we have financial and legal planning, information about caregiver health. We have a fantastic safety center. Oftentimes one of the most difficult conversations that a family is going to have with a loved one is about giving up driving. And there's some really fantastic resources here that walk you through how to have that conversation. Some excellent videos that I feel like are done really well that lay out a variety of scenarios. Also wandering. About 6 out of every 10 individuals with Alzheimer's or dementia will wander at some point. And so it's very important that families, if somebody's still living at home, living in the community, a part of how to keep them safe is going to be through, we have a Medic Alert Safe Return program. So you can have an ID bracelet for the individual as well as for their loved one. Should something happen to their loved one, the first responders will know that they're caring for someone at home. Information about preparing for emergencies as well. So this is just, you know, again, as you know, when you come to the website at first, it might feel a little bit daunting, but I encourage you to go to that help and support page. And I think right there, you'll find a lot of things at your fingertips. So Bethany, I'm certainly happy to answer any questions. I've also provided for Bethany and the library team a PDF they'll be sending out to you following today's presentation that has some links to about 6 of our primary online resources that I think will be helpful for all of you. And yes, so I see, and as far as volunteering, I do want to, I'll put that plug in there again. If you're interested in volunteering, I'll put a chat, I put a link in the chat. It's very easy to find. You go to alz.org/volunteer, and that's going to give you a nice list of all of the volunteer profiles. You might be interested in doing what Alice did today and being trained to deliver one of our educational programs, or you might have an interest in facilitating a support group. We also, one of the great partnership endeavors we have with the Plano Library is we have a great early stage socialization program with memory keepers. And so the Plano Library staff who manage that are trained volunteers with the association. So that's another opportunity as well. And Bethany, I see that Karen has her hand raised. I didn't know if we wanted, how we wanted to handle those.
Karen, if you have a question and want to type it into the chat. Otherwise, is there a way people can contact you directly, Kathy, or someone at?
Absolutely. So my email address is kshockley@alz.org. Please feel free to shoot me an email, and I will get back in touch with you right away. So.
All right. Well, if anyone has questions that they think of later, they can contact Kathy via her email, or right now, if you want to type something in the chat, we'll be keeping an eye. Otherwise, I think we're going to thank Kathy and Alice so much for being here and providing all this great information. And we are going to just finish out the program with some information about what the library has for you as well. So let me share my screen real quick. Okay. So as Kathy mentioned, the library does partner with the Alzheimer's Association to bring you the Memory Keepers program, which meets the second and last Monday of the month at 10:30 a.m. Because for people living with dementia or Alzheimer's and their care partners, it can be really hard to find ways to be social. So Memory Keepers, which is a bi-monthly online conversational program, it's intended for people and their care partners to explore and conserve memories together. The aim of this program is to give people living with dementia or Alzheimer's a comfortable space to express their feelings, interact with each other, remember the past, express their personality, and reduce anxiety and restlessness. So library staff lead participants in guided conversations around common themes like family, friends, pets, childhood. And these staff members have been trained through the Alzheimer's Association. All registrants receive a follow-up email with a link to library resources about dementia and Alzheimer's. So it's a really great program, and we encourage you to sign up and attend. We'll have to get back to you about support group recommendations, but that's a great question, Steve. So another program I'd love to share with you is Connecting Seniors. This is a great way to meet new friends or connect in a new way with those around you. So you can drop into a Connecting Seniors online program. We get together, share life experiences, stories, memories, and really it's just a lot of fun. Some upcoming topics include Games People Play. That's coming up this Thursday, June 17th. On July 1st, we're going to do Name That Jingle. It's all about commercials. Wasn't That a Book? Will be on July 15th. That's going to be about books that have been adapted to movies, so a lot of fun. And we're going to get crafty on August 5th with Art You Crafty. And to finish up the summer, we're offering Secrets of Plano on August 19th. So, and to sign up for Memory Keepers, we can get a link for you in the chat. I also want to mention our book clubs that meet almost several times a week. Book clubs for every interest. You can have lively conversation at these online book clubs, and whatever your reading preference, there is a book club to match it, and there's lots of people out there who want to hear what you have to say. And as you know, learning something new is a great way to expand your social circle and to engage with others. And here at the Plano Public Library, we offer online programs and classes on a variety of topics for all ages. These programs and classes do not require a library card. You can participate via Zoom or watch at any time on YouTube. Learn about personal finance, how to start a small business, pick up skills in Microsoft Word or Excel, or find out how you can check out books, audiobooks, and magazines using the Libby app on your tablet or smartphone, or Overdrive on your computer. So find out more about everything that the library has to offer at the Plano Library Learns blog. This blog posts engaging content and resources about arts and culture, early learning, students, STEAM learning, technology, and reading. Visit the blog for articles, recommendations, and reading lists, and to learn more about online programs, classes, and book clubs. You can connect with us on Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram to receive daily information about what's going on at the library. I encourage you to sign up to receive Sage, a monthly e-newsletter aimed at older adults. It covers services and programs provided by the City of Plano, including the library. You can also sign up for Check It Out, the library's monthly e-newsletter featuring news and updates about the Plano libraries. There are so many ways to stay social at the library, right from the comfort of your own home. And I did want to just pop this over here. This is the Living Well series. We still have a couple left if you haven't signed up for them. The next program is actually a standalone. It's also going to be presented by Alzheimer's Association. That's the Healthy Living for Brain and Body on June 22nd. Maximizing Overall Wellness with the Wellness Center is on July 13th. And Keys to Independent Living is on August 10th, and that's going to be with the Area Agency on Aging. So you can sign up at that page, this page, which great. Sabrina put it in the chat. Thanks, Sabrina. So thank you so much, everyone. We really appreciate you coming here today. And if you have any other questions, pop them into the chat. We still have a couple minutes left. If you have any other questions yes. Okay, thank you so much. Please complete our program survey, which should pop up following this program. We really value your feedback. You'll also receive links to the Alzheimer's Association handout and the library's handout related to today's topic. That will come in that follow-up email. Thanks again for joining us. We hope to see you at the next program.